Feels like you've hit a plateau within your health and fitness. I want this video to provide you the clarity that you need to finally focus in, dial in, and realign your training, your nutrition, your recovery, so you can actually start rebuilding your health and get back into S-tier shape and overall physicality. For context, been dialing in my health for the past 3.5 years, and I've just constantly hit and broken out of multiple plateaus within my physique and overall health. Gone from being dirty bulk to being in the best shape of my life. Being hyper lean to just having a month-long bout of terrible gut issues that essentially made me lose all of my progress. Indulging in fast food and processed BS to just absolutely 10xing my diet and overall relationship with food. Just to say, your boy has been absolutely through it. So it's through this video that I want to share how I'm personally aiming to break out of my current plateau after months of just obsessing and over optimizing my health, my fitness to absolutely no avail. Realistically, if you're not making progress, all that it means is that there's something misaligned within your training, your nutrition, or your recovery. Maybe one, two, even all three that need realigning to finally start rebuilding your overall health and fitness. When it comes to each, you could either be overtraining or not training hard enough within your workout, overeating, not eating enough, being overly restrictive, or being careless when it comes to your diet and nutrition. Probably the biggest factor is under recovering when it comes to being chronically fatigued, chronically stressed, because realistically, there's no such thing as being overly recovered, right? As it relates to my own journey over the past few months, God genuinely humbled me within making me finally understand and realize why it feels as though I've been plateaued for so long. Why, even though I was going hard in the gym, eating the highest quality foods, right, doing all the recovery tactics and sleep hacks, I still wasn't anywhere near how I wanted to look. The truth was that when it came to my training, my nutrition, and my recovery, I was completely misaligned across all three of these areas. My training, I'd been hitting the gym intensely every day, right? 0 rest days, thinking I was just this superhero and just operating purely out of ego, with that type of frequency and volume that I was doing whilst, balancing work, right, having college, right, even with this whole content thing. Not to mention, I was always changing my splits, my exercise, my overall style of training when it comes to, training for posture, bodybuilding, hypertrophy, calisthenics. With nutrition, even though my quality was absolutely dialed, right, just eating the highest quality foods, I was still subtly being neurotic and obsessive when it came to always changing my meal structures, avoiding certain foods, and just using fasting especially as this excuse alongside the quality to just eat more than I should have been. Easily the biggest thing I avoided the most over these past few months was just a chronic lack of recovery, right? Taking 0 rest days. I was really only sleeping like 6, sometimes 7 hours, mostly 6. And just, I was obsessing so much about trying to optimize every aspect of my life. Right? I was just in this fight or flight, stressed out state 24/7 within just wanting to optimize my fitness, my content, my routine, my overall lifestyle. Realizing where I was evidently misaligned and falling short within my training, my nutrition, my recovery, I saw that it all tied into just being chronically stressed and just trying to over optimize every minute detail within my health and fitness. So basically just majoring in the minors and completely lost sight of the root cause of my plateau, and instead focused on chasing the symptoms and these low ROI things that don't even move the needle. For the past 2 weeks of allowing God to realign myself physically within my health and fitness and choosing to operate from intuition as opposed to over optimization, I've realized now why I and so many others get stuck in these plateaus for so long. Because our egos often like to convince us that when the progress stops coming, we need to do more. More tinkering and experimenting to finally figure out the one workout, the one diet, the one sleep schedule, the one overall routine that will somehow just magically hand us our dream physique. As I mentioned, God humbled me big time after months of just operating from this mentality and showed me that the answer is less. All this time, I've been trying to build my body on a broken foundation. Even when I make a bit of progress from making some sort of change or tweaks in my training, my nutrition, my recovery, it would never stick long term, and I would just end up jumping to the next optimization tactic and just continue the plateau cycle. It's exactly my problem, in that I was just so obsessed with just trying to optimize every aspect of my health. I realized I needed a completely new foundation when it came to how I train, how I ate, how I recover, to finally detach from just this over optimization identity and belief system that I was operating from. By the past 2 weeks, I genuinely hit the reset button across all of these areas. Training, I've completely stopped doing any form of resistance training, and now I'm just basically prioritizing, body weight activity in terms of like walking, breath work, mobility, stretching. With nutrition, I've been relatively having the same foods and meals consistently while making small changes over time, right, based on how my body feels. Absolutely just been spamming foods I love when it comes to, eggs, beef, raw cheese, avocados, right, fruits like dates, blueberries, kiwi, banana, veggies, eggplants, pickled onions. With recovery especially, it's largely being taken care of by the fact that I'm not, hitting the gym every single day anymore. And as well, that I've aligned my sleep schedule towards what I can stick to regardless of the days where I work or don't work, because sometimes I work closing shift. So for me, that's just been 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. consistently non-negotiable. For me personally, I realized I genuinely needed that full reset across my training, my nutrition, and my recovery to finally just break out of this plateau and start building my health from that aligned foundation. I went out of obsession, stress, complexity, and optimization, out of simplicity, faith, and just conviction in what I already know works best for my body from the 3.5 years that I've just been dialing in my health and fitness. And truthfully, man, just from a few days of approaching my health in this manner, I just have this weird conviction that I'll 100% break out of this current plateau and achieve my current goal of beating my old previous physique without the optimization, without the obsession as I operated from for so long within my own health and fitness journey, as part of the current 365-day protocol I'm documenting on here, aka 365 Align. One more thing I want to share before I get into the actionable for alignment, so you can start actually applying this and start breaking out of your own plateau, is this. Your physical health is a direct representation of your spiritual health. To break out of my current plateau, I didn't need to tweak my workouts more, my diet more, my recovery tactics and tools more. What I truly needed was to shift my beliefs, my identity, and thus design a lifestyle that reflects that inner shift, right? That internal transformation. Because if the external isn't changing in terms of your physique plateauing, the root cause is a misaligned internal state in terms of how you view yourself. Why, once I detached from the identity of somebody that overtrains, that overly restricts himself within his diet, that sacrifices sleep for the sake of being more optimized, it brought me so much clarity as to what I needed to do to realign myself physically and break out of this plateau. As I've experienced within my own journey, those plateaus truly just come down to doing less and embracing simplicity. I genuinely have full faith that I'm building my body from a place of heart and soul, as opposed to out of ego and over optimization. All because I realized my plateau was simply a byproduct of the broken identity I've been operating from all this time. So for this video's actionable for alignment, I want you to assess how you've been operating within your training, your nutrition, and your recovery. Are you aligned within your training, or have you been overtraining or not training hard enough? Are you aligned within your nutrition, or have you been unintentional with your meals, or perhaps developed a toxic relationship with food? Are you aligned with your recovery, or does it feel like you're stressed 24/7, or that you constantly struggle with getting high quality sleep? So once you assess those 3 pillars, I want you to then identify the beliefs that are keeping you in that state of misalignment and being stuck in that plateau. Do you overtrain because you're using the gym as an escape from something deeper that's going on internally? You restrict how you eat because you saw someone else's diet or nutrition protocol online, and all of a sudden you believe that is the way. You sacrifice sleep because you feel like you don't have enough time within your day, and thus you feel this need to just wake up unnecessarily early. Questions like these that genuinely start aiming at the root cause relative to the identity that's just been attached to your current plateau. Because let's be real, you already knew something needed to change in order to break out of it. And instead of telling you to tweak or optimize or change more things, I want you to do some self-reflection and genuinely ask God for discernment over your current circumstances. The same way he pulled through for me and has compelled me to share everything I've learned recently on here, right, on the YouTube. I know that he will do the same for you so long as you allow him to and trust your own intuition. If this resonated or helped at all, as I mentioned, I've been documenting my current 365-day mind, body, soul protocol within just aligning myself mentally, physically, and spiritually towards that highest version of myself, right? AKA Brian 2.0. Truthfully, health and fitness is one piece of the puzzle within truly unlocking and stepping into that highest version of yourself, right? Creating that new identity. And so I just plan to document and share everything that I'm learning and doing in pursuit of that as part of 365 Aligned. Nonetheless, appreciate you for watching, right, for making it this far, and I genuinely hope this video provided, some form of clarity and insight within your own journey so that you can finally break out of that current fitness plateau of yours. As always, stay aligned.